everyone, Neil here, back with another episode. Working on the dual input furnace, more Thailand ingot masher. We have three big methods that we're going to tackle. We're going to get these bad boys out the way. And these are really what is going to make a lot of the magic happen with this thing right here. Yep, that's what's going to happen. It's actually, when we work on this is actually going to result in the creation of a new class that we're going to have to work on. Can mash. This is essentially more or less going to be a check as to whether or not it can actually do the thing when we have arranged items into our input slots. So, the easiest way to do this is to do some if statements. So we are going to say that if slots of 0 is equal to null, or slots of 1 is equal to null, then what we will do is return false. If there's nothing in either of those slots, we're not going to do anything. Right? We did add a return statement, but we need a final one outside of this. Because what if there is something? What if there is something in these? We still have to return that down here. A lot of other stuff to get through, though. Once we've established whether or not there is anything actually in those slots, if there is, what we're going to do is we're going to create an item stack, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, this is our new class. We're not going to do ally. We're going to do masher recipes. And let's just make it ingot masher recipes. Ingot masher recipes. This is a new class that we need to make. And in that, we're going to have a method that says get mashing result of slots 0 dot get item, and also slots of 1 dot get item, like so. We got to create this bad boy, though, so we got to create this class. Get items, get item. There we go. We got to create this class and then create this method. Let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to put these under crafting because that's pretty much where I have put all of my recipe stuff. So there we go. We've got that bad boy in play. So what does this look like? This is a custom recipe list. We've done some custom recipe stuff already with our custom workbench that we did. This, however, is really going to be pretty straightforward. Ingot masher recipes. We are going to have another public, and this is going to be ingot masher recipes, like so. We need to do this. Below this, we are going to have our public static item stack get mashing result, the method that we just created, and in this we are going to be pulling out an item, then we are going to be pulling out a second item, which we will name item 2. Really what this is we're pulling out item 1 is coming from slot 0. Item 2 is coming out of slot 1. So what the Javas is doing here is essentially saying, hey, go out to this class and run this method, and I'm giving you this and this. And when it gets over to that method, it says, hey, I'm expecting these two things, give them to me. Do the imports. When it gets to those, it says, hey, I'm expecting something, so we are going to return a new method, which is getOutput, and that is going to be item and item2, just like so. Got another error because we've got another method that we need to create. That method, of course, is going to be public static item stack get output, and this is going to be item again, and we'll just call that item, and then item again, and we'll call that item2, just like we did last time. So we're passing this along right here. We're saying, hey, go down here. Why doesn't it like that? Oh, because I haven't done this yet. So what are we going to return here? Well, we're going to need to do an if statement. So we are going to say that if item is equal to Neilcraft dot, we need to go to some tin ingot. Tin ingot? Let's do a zinc ingot. Let's do a zinc ingot. Wait a sec. Did I create a manganese one? Manganese ingot. And item 2 is equal to, we're going to do items dot iron ingot, or, because really all we're doing at this point is we're saying that slot 1 is going to be a manganese ingot and slot 2 is going to be an iron ingot. Let's take these out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to return a new item stack, and that is going to be Neilcraft. Did I create one of these? I don't think I did. Item. Let's just do a vanadium ingot. And we're going to return 2 of those. Like so. Now the thing is this will only work if the manganese is in slot 1 and the iron ingot is in slot 2. So we need to actually turn this around and say that item 1 is or item 1 is going to be, or just item is going to be equal to items dot iron ingot, and item 2 is going to be equal to item manganese ingot. So really what this does is it allows us to make them interchangeable. So it doesn't matter, as long as we can put manganese in either slot, and if we're putting iron ingots in either slot, it's going to return our vanadium ingots when we do that. It doesn't like this. It says that we need to add a return statement because, again, it's asking us, hey, well, what if it doesn't have those? Well, if we've exhausted all of our recipes, then really what we want to do is we want to return null at this point. And this is really what you're going to do. For all of your recipes that you're going to have, I'm just going to do this, recipe 1. For all of your recipes, you're more or less going to create this if statement, and you're going to specify what you want one of the items to be, what you want the other item to be, and then what your output is going to be. And you can just repeat that if statement all the way down, make sure that you have return null at the end, and then you're going to have all of your recipes done. And that's it. So we can actually come over here, and it doesn't give us an error anymore. It likes that. We still need a return statement over here because we haven't done everything that we need to do on this can alloy method. So we need to say that if item stack, if this item stack is equal to null, what are we going to do? We are going to return false. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Essentially what we're doing is we first check to find out whether or not the slots have something in them. If they do, let's go out and check the recipe. Right? It goes out, it checks the recipe. If it doesn't have a recipe for what we put in, it's going to return null. So we come back here and we say, well, hey, if item stack is null, we don't want to do anything. So we're going to return false. We're not going to cook anything at this point. The next thing that we want to do is we want to say if, not a capital I, if slots of 3 is equal to null, we want to return true. If slots of 3, and I did this wrong already, we want to invert this. So more or less if we're saying if it is not equal to null, nope, dot is item equal to item stack. So if it is not equal to item stack, what are we going to do? We're going to return false. Why are we doing this? We're essentially saying that if what we're trying, if there's something in that output slot and it doesn't equal the combination of items that we currently have in these two things, it's not going to cook, right? So if we've got like poopy iron or whatever derpy ingot over here, but we put in our recipe of our manganese and our iron ingot, it's going to say, well, hey, there's something in there, and it's not going to be equal to the result of that item stack, right? Right here, it's not going to be equal to that. We need to return false because we don't want to cook anything. Next, we're going to say if slots of 3, which is our output, dot stack size, is less than get inventory stack limit, and slots of 3 dot stack size is less than slots of 3 dot get max stack size, we are going to return true. What's our inventory stack limit? You may remember this. Where is it? Where did it go? Right there. Get inventory stack limit, 64. So what are we doing here? We are saying that if the stack size is less than 64 and the slot stack size is less than the max stack size of whatever is in slot 3, we can return true. With me? Hope so. Actually, we want to do this, else, because we're all done. We're all done with that. We are going to, if we pass all of these checks, what do we want to do? We want to return slot 3 dot stack size is less than item stack dot get max stack size semicolon done. Our can mash method is now done. Woohoo! I feel like we've accomplished so much. Mash item. Alright. So, the reason that we went through and did this first is because we actually need to come through and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with an if statement that says if can mash, then we are going to do this. And this actually needs to be like so, not that. So we need to go through and validate all this stuff first. Can we even run this recipe at this point? So if we can do that, then we have everything else. So item stack is going to equal item stack, and this is more or less again what we're pulling out of our ingot masher recipes dot get smelting or get mashing result, and we're going to have slots 0 dot get item, and we're going to have slots 1 dot get item. So we're going to pass those along to our recipe class, and we're going to put the result into an item stack. Sweet. All right. Money. If slots of 3 is equal to null, we are going to say, so if it's null, if it's empty, we're going to say slots of 3 is going to be equal to item stack dot copy, like so. However, if it's not null, we are going to do another if, and we are going to say slots of 3, the third slot, which is the output slot, is item equal to item stack. Then we will say that slots, our third slot, our output slot, dot stack size plus or equal to item stack dot stack size. What would the stack size of item stack be? Anybody? It's going to be 2. It's going to be 2. We're returning the new item stack right here. We're putting it into here. What is the stack size of that? It's going to be 2. So we're essentially going to say that once we've gone through this, slot 3, whatever that is, we're going to add 2 to it over and over and over until we get to our max stack size, right? Our inventory stack limit right there, 64. Money. Money, 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 money. Now we need to do a for loop. So, what we're going to say is we're going to say for int I equals 0 as long as I is less than 2. So we're going to go 0 and 1, and we're going to iterate this bad boy. Iterate it? Yeah, we'll call it that. That's probably wrong. I know that from other languages, so that's probably wrong. Slots of I dot stack size is less than or equal to this is an if. I was like, we haven't put any conditions in here. So if slots of I, so we're going to go through each of these, is less than or equal to 0, we are going to say that slots of I is going to equal a new item stack, which is going to be slots I dot get item dot set full 3D, like so. Else slots of I is going to be dot stack size minus minus. We're going to decrement those. One last if statement. If slots of I is slots of I stack size is less than or equal to 0, then we want to set it to null. Slots of I is equal to null. Just like so. So that takes care of our MASH item. We still have the update entity that we need to get through. That's a heavy duty one. We're going to leave that for next time. That one we're looking at about, I don't know, 50 lines of code. So we're actually going to spend one whole episode on the update entity. So we've actually got everything done in terms of, hey, can we actually process what items we have in our input slots, right? These guys. There, I did it. In these input slots. And then if everything checks out, we can actually go through and do it. So there we go. Update entity next time, right here. I actually just realized that I made it through an entire episode without swearing, so shit. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.